Hello, everybody, and welcome to Enjoy English. I am your host, Shane.
大家好，我是 Bernice.
So, Bernice, today we're talking about a pretty cute topic.
Yes.
We're talking about animal tails.
Tails.
Yeah, and the topic is called How Animal Tails Shape Life in Surprising Ways.
Oh.
And the subtitle is Animal Tails Do More than you could ever imagine. You can never imagine how much animal tails do. They don't just wag and look cute, or sometimes my cat, when it gets excited or it gets scared, its tail will puff up, puff up, and he looks like a squirrel. It's really cute, but they do all kinds of things.
对了，刚才轩老师讲了，因为他也是爱猫人士啊，哈，所以他的猫咪呢，如果有的时候呢，这个尾巴啊会这样子噗蓬起来，很像那个松鼠一样的感觉，对。所以我们今天的这个探索自然呢，讲的就是动物的尾巴，它们的尾巴呢，其实有很多百变的用途。好，那他这边有讲到这个主标题，讲到这个 shape。这边的这个 shape 是当动词哦，不是当名词的形状，所以这边的 shape 当动词的意思呢，它有一点表示说，好像决定了或者是影响的那种感觉，所以这边讲说，这个 animal 的动物的这个尾巴呢是怎么样决定呢？我们的生活，可是其实有一些让我们觉得没有意想不到的这样的一些的方法。然后甚至呢，它的副标题就讲到说，动物的尾巴呢，它的功能啊是 more than 是超过远远超过你的 imagine 超过你的想象。
Great. Okay, let's get into it.
好的。
How animal tails shape life in surprising ways. While a tail might seem like a simple feature, it plays an important role in the lives of many animals. For example, we can often tell when a dog is excited by the way it wags its tail. Small moments like these show that tails are active parts of animals' bodies. These movements can offer clues about what the animal is thinking or planning to do. Across the animal world, tails come in many shapes and sizes because they serve different purposes. Some tails help with movement, while others provide balance for jumping, climbing, or running. Many tails are used as tools for communication, signaling safety, danger, or emotion. Some even support survival by storing fat, providing warmth, or defending against predators. A squirrel's bushy tail helps it stay steady as it leaps between branches. A beaver slaps its wide, flat tail to warn others of nearby danger. A monkey's long, grasping tail can hold onto branches like an extra arm or leg, helping it travel through the forest more easily and safely. Each of these tails evolved over time to meet the specific challenges of the environments these animals live in.
So I have two cats that have no tail. Well, one's got kind of looks like it's a rabbit tail. It's like puffy.
Very short.
It's because it was just like it happens a lot with cats, like I guess in their formative years when they're like very young, things can happen to their tails and they might not get a very well-shaped or well-formed tail. So I have one like that, and one we had that got ran over by a car and broke his leg and broke his tail, and we had to amputate or cut off his tail. So we have three cats, only one has a tail.
只有一只有尾巴，那另外两只，一只是因为车祸被车子碾过去，那另外一只就是可能在成长的过程之中，它的形状就长得这样短短的，像兔子的小尾巴这样子。
So they don't get some of the benefits that we might talk about because they have no tails.
Okay.
All right, let's get into this topic.
All right.
Okay. While a tail might seem like a simple feature, it plays an important role in the lives of many animals. Right. Okay. So it's much more important than we might think.
没错。所以第一个句子这个 while 就是 although 的意思。他说虽然呢，我们知道这个动物的尾巴呢，其实呢 seem like 我们知道这个 seem 后面加 like 后面就要接一个名词啦，似乎就好像什么样的一个名词呢？是一种 feature。可是它这个feature 这个特征讲的是 simple， 就是一个很简单嘛，就是一个动物后面有一个尾巴呀。可是实际上呢，这个尾巴呢，其实呢它是扮演相当重要的角色，而且是在这个动物的生活里面。
Okay. For example, we can often tell when a dog is excited by the way it wags its tail. So wag is what a tail, when it moves back and forth like this, it's called to wag. So we say it wags its tail, and that is just the cutest thing about dogs. I used to have a pit bull. This kind of dog.
Okay.
They're known for being very strong, and when he would wag his tail, his whole body would just move, and it wasn't like he wagged his tail. We'd say he wagged his body. But yeah, when he would get very excited or very happy, he would wag his tail.
对啦，所以刚刚老师讲了，所以有些狗狗它可能因为太过于兴奋，所以它在摇它的尾巴的时候，好像整个身体都在移动的那个感觉。OK， 所以这边就举例来说啦，我们通常人类呢，其实就是呢，通常会 often 好 tail 在这边就是指你可以分辨出来，你可以看得出来什么呢？哦，原来当一只狗呢，今天它非常的兴奋的时候，那我们怎么样知道说这个狗狗非常的兴奋呢 ？By the way， 就是这个狗狗是如何 how， 它们是怎么样 wags its tail， 就是它怎么样摇动它的尾巴。
Right. Okay. Small moments like these show that tails are active parts of animals' bodies. So they are, it's an active part of their body. It's serving a function, and it's doing things that show maybe its emotional state. And, in this case, that's what it's doing. It's showing us something about how it is feeling, right? So yeah, it's really interesting.
OK， 好，所以接下来他下一个句子说呢 ，small moments， 他这边讲的所谓的这些细微的瞬间的意思就是说，这些 little details， 就像刚刚狗狗摇尾巴这样的一些小小的迹象或者小小的这个细节呢，就在这些瞬间里面呢，其实就像是表现出来一件什么事情呢？它们的尾巴呢，其实呢就是在动物身体里面一个很活跃的一个部分，所以你可以看到动物它不会一直眨眼睛，它也不会一直扭鼻子，或者是一直动耳朵，可它的尾巴却是非常的活跃的这个部分，所以它这边就是说，就是这样的细微的瞬间的这样的一个表现呢，可以知道这个尾巴确实是身体部位之中比较活跃的部分。
Right. These movements can offer clues about what the animal is thinking or planning to do. So a clue is something that if you're trying to figure out why something happened, a clue is something that gives you an insight or some idea about why something happened or why there's a certain result. Right. So we have a clue.
所以刚才老师讲的这个 clue 呢，在这边就是有点类似像一种给你的一种 signs， 一种迹象，让你知道说可能等一下什么事情要发生了哟，所以呢狗狗会摇尾巴，所以他这边就说了这些动作呢，它就会提供给我们这样的一些线索。什么样的线索呢？就是有关于呢这些动物们，到底他们其实有些什么样的想法呢？或者呢是他们有一些什么样的计划呢？等一下要做什么？可能要去咬你的袜子啦，或者是想要吃东西了，对，想要去散步了，还是怎么样的？等等，对，这些线索呢，我们就可以从摇他们的尾巴这样子摇动，可以了解得到。
对。Okay, let's take a short break. We'll be right back. Well, since I'm a person, do you have cats or dogs?
I have dog.
You have a dog? Just one?
2 dogs.
You have 2 dogs.
Yes.
You have dogs. Okay. So you know about them wagging their tail usually means they're happy, right? Or excited. Well, did you know I'm a cat owner? I've also had dogs before. But when cats wag their tails, it has a different meaning. Do you know what it means?
I don't know.
Usually means they're unhappy.
Huh? Unhappy?
Yeah. When they wag their tail, it usually means that they have been stimulated or made to feel in a way that makes them a little bit uncomfortable. So it's like almost the opposite of a dog. So it's very interesting just by having these domesticated animals, we can see by their action of their tails what kind of mood that they are in. So it's interesting that a cat wags its tail. It actually has the opposite meaning of what a dog wags its tail.
所以刚刚谢老师，那只有养猫的人比较了解这件事情了。所以猫咪跟狗是相反的，狗狗摇尾巴表示哇，它很开心啊，看到主人啊这样子。但是他说猫咪是觉得有一点不太爽咯，
不爽哦。
对。
Okay, let's get into this.
All right.
Across the animal world, tails come in many shapes and sizes because they serve different purposes. Okay, so they come in many shapes and sizes. That just means that there are many shapes and sizes. So you can say that things come in just means that there are these things that exist, right? And it's usually the things that after come in, like shapes and sizes, that these shapes and sizes exist because they serve a purpose means that it's doing something for an actual goal. Right? It has a reason why it does this is to achieve a certain goal or some effect, right?
对，好的，所以这边老师解释得很清楚了。我们用 coming 前面放事物的时候呢，其实就像老师刚刚讲 ，there are 其实就是有这些东西就对了。所以这些事物呢，它们有，所以你不要用 have 啊，你在这边不要用 tails have。many shapes， 好，我们说 come in 这样的用法，所以就是说呢，尾巴呢，其实它有很多的这个所谓的形状跟它的大小，然后 come in 的后面我们就会接一些形状啦，或者是大小，或者是颜色啊，或者是什么样的一个种类等等的都可以。那为什么呢？是因为这些尾巴呢 serve different purposes。刚才老师讲的 serve purposes 就是表示他们有一些特殊的功用啊。老师刚刚讲是一个目标，你要达成这样的一个目标，所以就是你有一些，就是这些东西呢 ，they are used for specific purposes。你有一些特殊的目的你要达成，所以你才会用这个尾巴。所以它这个动作呢是 across the animal world。所谓的 across the animal world，就是说在整个动物世界里面，也就是说每一个动物。
Right, from one side of the animal world, like to maybe tiny little animals, to the biggest animals across all of the animal world.
对，所以整个好，在这个动物的王国里面。所有的动物，它们的尾巴有各样的不同的形状啦、大小啦。那其实呢，都是因为它们有各个不同的作用。
Okay, continuing. Some tails help with movement, while others provide balance for jumping, climbing, or running. Okay, so some tails help with movement, right? So they're the way that they maybe need to move, so it might help. I think with a cheetah, its tail helps with how fast that it can run. It's part of the speed of it. It achieves some of its speed because of the tail that it has. And then a lot of them, like monkeys you can imagine, or even cats for jumping. Cats use their tails in order to create for their balance. While they're jumping, they can get some balance and direction from the use of their tail.
没错。所以接下来的下一个句子，他就开始讲了，到底它有什么样的purposes 呢？它主要的 purpose 就是说，某一些尾巴它可以帮助动物们呢，它的移动。比如说呢 while 就是而，所以有一些是这样，而另外有一些呢，只是会提供一些让它们有平衡的这样的一个状态。那这个平衡要来干嘛呢？比如说动物要上上下下的跳跃啦，或者要爬啦，要奔跑的时候，可以让它维持平衡的。
Right. Okay. Many tails are used as tools for communication, signaling safety, danger, or emotion. Wow. Okay. So they're used as tools for communication. So to communicate is to exchange information between two or more animals, people, could be things, because computers can also communicate with each other. And to signal safety, signaling safety just means to show or to demonstrate that there is safety. So that if the tail might go up or something, and it's like, okay, this is, maybe an unsafe area, or a predator is coming after us, or has got near us, and the animals might be signaling to one another to let them know that, hey, danger is coming, right?
没错，刚才老师讲的这个，尤其是 wild animals， 特别是这样子。如果养在家里面的这些狗狗、猫猫们，可能它们已经慢慢这个功能会丧失。对，因为它就住在一个安全的地方了。可是如果你是在野外的时候，你会发觉有一些动物世界里面，绝对会有一个是信号员。他就是要负责告诉其他的人说，哎，现在有危险咯，或者有侵略者要来咯，他就会把他的尾巴高高的竖起。好，所以各位同学应该都有看过类似这样的状况。所以我们可以知道呢，有许多的这些尾巴呢，其实它主要呢是用来作为沟通之间的一个工具。那这个工具呢，可以帮他们 signaling， 就是我们刚刚讲的，可以传递这些所谓的有没有安全的事情，或者还是有些有危险了，甚至呢表达他们自己本身的情绪。所以你看尾巴。它的功用其实非常的广泛的。
Yeah, it's really interesting because dogs and cats are really communicating with you. I mean, these are domesticated animals. You're talking about wild animals, but I know when my cat is wagging its tail and I'm petting it at the same time and it starts to wag its tail, I move my hand away because I'm afraid that it might scratch me.
Okay.
So that's communication right there. It's letting me know, hey, buddy, you better move your hand.
对，所以是完全相反的这样的一个讯号。
Okay. Some even support survival by storing fat, providing warmth, or defending against predators. Interesting. I never thought about that, storing fat or even providing warmth.
Okay.
Just a tail.
对，所以你看，甚至有一些这个尾巴呢，它可以怎么样呢 ？Support survival， 它可以让你维持你的生存哦。那怎么样维持你的生存呢？借由什么样的方式？所以 by 后面记得加 ing。那个 store S-T-O-R-E 原本有 e 去了 e 加上 ing， 就是帮你储存脂肪，就是你身上可以有一些热量的东西的来源，然后并且呢可以帮助你提供你一些温暖，甚至呢可以让你抵御一些掠食者。所以你看这个尾巴真的有很多非常意想不到的作用。
Yeah, so many different uses. So cool. Okay, let's take a short break. We'll be right back.
好的。
Okay, so let's look at some specific animals other than we've been talking about cats and dogs, but some other specific animals and how their tail functions or helps it, in the wild. Okay, so a squirrel's bushy tail helps it stay steady as it leaps between branches. So while it's jumping, its tail actually keeps its balance for it. And they do have very bushy we say bushy tails.
Yeah.
It just means a tail, a cat or a dog. Actually, some dogs have bushy tails, and I guess some cats have bushy tails. But typically we say bushy, it's like a bush, it means just a pong pong da. Yeah, kind of like that. So we know the tails of squirrels are quite bushy.
对，所以这边讲的是松鼠的尾巴。松鼠的尾巴就像老师刚才讲的，它是比较毛茸茸的。通常我们用 bush 这个字呢，形容就是说这个东西呢，它的毛量是很多的，然后很密集的这样子。所以你看到松鼠的尾巴都是这样肥肥的一个尾巴。OK， 好，所以呢，松鼠它毛茸茸的尾巴的作用是什么呢？可以帮助松鼠们呢，第一个可以让它很稳定 ，stay steady。然后尤其是当它怎么样呢？当它在 leaps 我们知道就是从一个地方跳到一个地方的时候，我们会看到松鼠常常会在树枝里面这样咚咚咚跳过来跳过去。所以呢，当它在这些树枝里面跳跃的时候呢，它的这个胖胖的尾巴就可以帮它呢在这个时候保持稳定。
Yeah, so it would be fair to say that steady means 稳定, right? Yeah, so that's what steady means. Okay, let's continue. A beaver slaps its wide, flat tail to warn others of nearby danger. Okay, so to warn somebody of something just means that you are allowing that animal or person, I think we're talking about animals here, that there is a warning is basically to tell somebody that there is some kind of danger. And to warn somebody of something is to warn them that there is danger somewhere nearby. And so here it does actually say to warn others of nearby danger. But a warning is basically to say, hey, be careful.
没错，所以 warning 是名词，表示警告的意思。那在这边的 warn somebody of something 就是只是表示说你警告某人，有一件事情，所以他用 of 这样的一个介系词。slap 就是很快速的这样子拍打。它会拍打它的这个尾巴，它的尾巴呢是比较宽的，而且是比较 flat， 是比较扁平的，好，这样的一个尾巴。那主要呢，它拍打的这个状况呢，就是来告诉呢，警告其他它旁边的这些伙伴，就是说，可能呢附近有发生危险了哦，所以你们要特别的注意哦，这样子。
Yeah, they have really special tails. I never really knew what the function was of their tail. I thought that maybe they did it to like construct or to build their dams. You know, because they build the dams like to help, the water, prevent water from moving through in like a small river or something by putting rocks or trees or something. I thought they kind of used their tail. I didn't know what the tail was
就
used
是我
for.
们也今天才知道，它是用来讲危险的。
for warnings. That's interesting. Okay, let's move on to a monkey. So a monkey's long grasping tail can hold on to branches like an extra arm or leg, helping it travel through the forest more easily and safely. So we call this a grasping tail. To grasp really just means like to grab or to get a hold of something. So it's like a tail that can hold stuff, right?
没错，所以接下来我们就讲到大家都熟知的猴子了。猴子呢，则是它的尾巴，我们知道它是长长的，而且它这个尾巴呢是有种可以紧紧抓住东西的这样的一个力量哈，所以它的这个尾巴呢就可以 hold onto branches， 因为呢你知道这个猴子会在这个树里面这样掉来掉去，对不对 ？swing 这样子过来
，It is like an extra arm or something.
对，所以它这个尾巴就好像它的多余的一个手臂或者是腿一样，它可以紧紧的抓住这个树枝，那抓住这个树枝呢，就可以让他们比较更轻松 helping， 就是前面这件事情可以帮助猴子们呢，可以 travel through， 我们知道 travel through 的意思，这边的 travel 就是指在这个中间行进的意思，所以呢就是说，在一个地方荡到另外一个地方的时候呢，它可以很轻松的穿梭在这些森林里面，而且是更加的容易，而且更加的安全，所以它的尾巴呢，就像它额外的手臂跟腿是一样的。
Yeah, you can imagine how super important it is because they spend a lot of time in trees and they travel through trees. Without a tail, they would be in big trouble. Really. They'd have a lot of trouble just getting from one place, like from point A to point B. So they nearly need their tails. Unlike my cat's doesn't have a tail, doesn't really matter. Yeah, except that I don't know when it's upset. But actually, you can still see it has what we call a stump. Like a stump is like a tree. When you cut down a tree, there's still a little part left. So both of my cats that don't have tails, they have stumps. And there's still muscle there. So you'll still sometimes when 他们不爽的时候，有点咚咚咚咚，
还是会看它会在这样子动动动。
So I can still see it. Okay. All right. So continuing, each of these tails evolved over time to meet the specific challenges of the environments these animals live in. All right. So they each have specific challenges. When we say that there are specific challenges, we just mean that there are unique challenges that are different than, for each animal, for example, they might have one situation. There might be one kind of challenge that this tail will be specific or exactly right for this one type of challenge, right? So when we say specific, we just mean just one very exact.
没错，所以刚刚老师解释这个 specific 这个字呢，当我们知道它到形容词的意思，表示特定的。那就像老师刚才讲的，你的尾巴怎么样的去动，或怎么样的 move 这样的一个动作，就是针对这些特定的挑战 好，所以它有这样的一些目的。所以呢，你的尾巴呢，每一种动物的尾巴呢，就会开始 evolve， 就开始演化了、演进啦。为什么它会 over time 随着时间开始做一些演化呢？就是 in order to 为了要去 meet， 我们到这个 meet 就类似像 face 或者是 deal with， 你要去处理呢这些特定的一些挑战。而且这些挑战是在环境里面，他们本身所处的这个环境里面所出现的这些特定的挑战，所以呢，这些动物呢就住在这些环境里面，所以他们要因为这些环境，他们的尾巴就开始做不同的演化了。
All right, great. Okay, well, this is all we have for day 1, but please come back because there is day 2, and you don't want to miss more about learning about tails. Okay, we'll see you then. Bye-bye.
拜拜。